How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Pod Pad. And as you can see, this week, month, year, time in the
June
worth, time in the world. we got video now.
This is my face.
This is my face.
Yeah, it's my face, long angle.
I'm Justin. This guy to my left here is
Fish.
And then on over here we
To
got
my left is
Yeah, we got Miles wearing his $10 shirt. Talking about some Connecticut drip here.
some Connecticut drip. That's
Hi, fans.
CT drip.
Yeah, that's right. It's a boring
That's
state,
CT.
but fun stuff there. Yeah,
Fun
yeah.
stuff.
All right, Justin.
So this time around we are covering addiction. It took us a while to get here, but we finally got the podcast going.
there was a COVID scare.
There was a COVID scare.
The May took us out. I got my vaccine. I'm fully vaxxed.
Yeah, I'm vexed too.
He's on the way. He almost
I'm
said
on-
no.
He's silent in the
if
background.
I want to go to
He's
a
not
Bills
addicted
game.
to COVID shots yet.
Not addicted to COVID.
We're just gonna get the boosters.
We'll get
Give me
there.
that shit.
He just likes the adrenaline rush. He's like, dude, I'm just getting
I'll tell you.
tattoos. It's cheaper. The government pays for it.
Yeah, man, right?
The first one, it made me my arm real sore, but the second one not so much. But I was tired afterwards.
Yeah, for sure. But anyways,
I just had a bronchitis scare. Thought it was COVID. It wasn't. And now here we are after quarantine. So,
So we're back.
we're covering addiction this time around. And so I wanted to start off by saying the word addiction actually comes from the word addictus, which is a Latin term for enslaved by or bound to.
oh shit, that's pretty cool.
Addictus.
King shit.
Yeah.
King shit, yeah. So in 1779, writers began using the word addiction for the concept of the... I really should have went over this.
Ah, go man, come on.
Alright, so it's the concept of the... You guys ever have it to where you guys can't read your own handwriting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So professional.
So
He knows better than
professional.
a doctor,
Here we
right?
are.
He probably got that chicken scratch.
Oh,
Yeah, right? Miles can't, right? So it's pretty much just saying that they started using it for drug use. However, it began to be looked at as a disease in 1956 when the American Medical Association, or the AMA, declared alcoholism as an illness. I should not be the one reading this, guys.
That's okay.
But in 1987, the AMA, as well as other medical organizations, officially termed addiction as a disease.
Yeah, man.
So in
Wait, what year was that?
in 1779, they began using the word addiction as like taking a drug or sorts. But in 1987, they actually declared addiction a disease.
I wonder, was that part of like the just say no to drugs thing? What was that?
that was
The
actually
DARE
like,
program.
Reagan? Was that Reagan?
Yeah, that was Reagan, and that was a product
Yeah.
of what he's talking about. Is like it was part of the "Let's Kill Addiction," like I don't know, not propaganda, but campaign
Yeah.
that Reagan ran because
I think the craziest part was like that just fueled more people to get into drugs. I think.
yeah,
you know
she
what I
made
mean?
them more aware of their options.
I didn't think of it like that. I didn't think of it
But it's the truth. Come
It's
on.
true like that.
Yeah, that's true. That really is
Just
true.
say no, and then well, New York, it's legal now. Weed,
Yeah.
at least weed.
Which a lot of people
Let's
think
not make it
is
ambiguous.
not an addiction, but I'm pretty sure we could all agree that weed is some sort of an addiction.
Yeah, you can get an addiction to weed. I mean, it's not as strong or as dependent as others because it's still ultimately, it's still some substance that you're used to having in your body. Your body's used to functioning under. I mean, water, that's not a good example, but like,
You need
I'm
it.
addicted to
You
water,
need it.
man.
That's a good addiction. There's got to be good addictions probably too.
Yeah, but at the same time, too much water can still kill you.
Yeah,
Yeah, you'll drown
die.
yourself.
Yeah.
I think.
But there are
can
very good
overhydrate.
addictions still, such as like exercise.
Yeah, dude.
Some people are like Miles, for instance,
Yeah.
loves to work out, and if he's not working out, I know he feels down and out. You like to
Yeah.
run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
When don't
like
do
to
that, I feel
get out
shit.
of work and fucking play my video games. That's my
Yeah.
addiction.
Yeah, we all got it.
Yeah?
Yeah, man, I fucking love it.
Dude, video games can be addicting. It's like the light or something, or just the thrill, the adrenaline.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, man. I love, like, fast-paced games at times because when you win and stuff, oh, my God. I don't know. It's just a thrill ride.
I definitely feel that when I did play video games back in the day. I used to play Call of Duty. It was like when they
That was
first
my
came out. It was like
shit.
Modern Warfare 4, and I think Black Ops came out right after that.
Yeah.
And then there was like that old one with the sticky grenade. But That was my shit, and I know exactly what you mean because you'll just be up all night, and then like you'll start playing at like 8 or something, and then like all of a sudden it's 4 a.m. What happened?
Right.
Like, that's the addiction part. Like you're gone, and like
that happened to me.
I think that's what like when people when they use drugs they might feel like that too. What were you gonna say?
No, I was just gonna say Call of Duty, especially when I was younger, so I was just going to school, coming home. And I was like, fuck homework, right? Like, there's a video game waiting for me. And not only that, but that was my communication with all my friends that I couldn't see throughout the day because we couldn't get to each other or there was some kind of obstacle that we couldn't see each other. So we were like, yo, just hop on the game. We'll go take on whoever. And I got really good at Call of Duty. And that's when my addiction really started. Because, like you said, I was just... Next thing I know, I'm fucking sitting there playing.
4 a.m.
And as soon as I get home from work, I'm playing. Next thing I know, the sun's rising. I'm like, oh shit, I gotta pretend I'm asleep because my dad's gonna come in here and wake me up for school soon.
It was like you were out drinking all night.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it's 4 o'clock.
Absolutely.
And then you got no sleep.
I mean, video games actually does have a similar addictive personality as alcohol because it gives you that it gives you that dopamine feeling. You know what I mean? It gives you that
instant good feeling.
And also this, like, just the light in general will release endorphins and stuff because
all the colors and stuff.
Yep, it will.
And it helps.
It's intense light.
Yeah. And it helps you to escape reality.
Yep.
Like alcohol. Like you know what I mean? Like when you're drinking, you're doing it to have a good time. You're having fun, but you're escaping. If you're addicted, at least you're escaping something.
You're escaping the mundane reality of your life, or something. Maybe not just that, but that could be something.
I think our eyes, I don't know if this is true or not, but they're drawn to the brightest thing in the room, and that could be a color or a light, like you're saying, where that light is the brightest thing, so your eyes just go to it. Yeah. Just like if you see like something that's hot pink, your eyes just go to it. I don't know what the science is, but that's a thing.
It's attractive.
Yeah, it's just like, I don't know, that's weird. I don't know why I brought that up.
No, it's
no, it's true.
Because sometimes that's what it is a visual stimulus you can be addicted to. Because think about, like, sexual addictions and stuff like that. Like, people that, like, I don't know, it happens, like, uncontrollable masturbators. Like, that's a real fucking thing. Yeah. I had to learn about that in school, and it's a real addiction. It's a visual stimulus. Like, seeing something, a certain thing you want to view. So it's like, it is, why is that? And there's a certain color, certain thing that attracts you.
Yeah.
And because, I mean, you can say for sexual addiction,
we're all addicted to pussy.
Right, I think even women.
There's
some women like that.
Absolutely.
It's like a titty. Everyone loves a titty.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. And everybody, even girls, as soon as somebody walks by in yoga pants, even your girl will be like...
Don't cancel us. No.
Don't cancel us.
I'm kidding.
I don't think we got enough viewers to be canceled yet.
Wasn't canceled yet.
Sidetrack story for a second. I went and seen a comedy show in Connecticut, and this guy
really? I didn't know that.
Mid-set, he kept going. He's like, dude, these are just jokes. Like, please don't cancel me. And it just.
I noticed that with a lot of comedians now, even in their specials.
Yeah.
Like they'll stop themselves and be like, "These are just jokes, people. I don't mean it." You know what I mean?
It's
even
weird.
though it's like,
kills the energy.
especially if you're at a comedy show, you know this motherfucker does not.
Right.
He's not like talking about abortion, like, yeah, fuck that. But you know the way he says it is constructed in a way.
People try to make him sound like they're not human.
Right, exactly. But he knows that he's doing it in a way that's gonna make people laugh. He's not saying it because he's an asshole. He's saying it because he knows it's gonna get a chuckle.
Yeah.
He knows it's funny.
He's doing his job.
Exactly. That's it. That is his job. He's a comedian. His job is to go on the stage and make you laugh. And what's the easiest way to make you laugh?
Say things that you don't expect.
Yeah, say things you don't expect, and say things that are so taboo. Yeah, that's it. Shock value.
And if you don't like the comedian, this is the one thing. Just leave.
Yeah, just fucking get up and go. Why are you gonna try and make a Facebook post?
Like, it's the same thing. Like if the stove's burning your hand, move your hand. You know what I mean? Like, ooh, hot. You don't tell the stove like stop being hot. You know?
How can you say that?
Yeah. But anyways, back to addiction.
Yeah, like I want to talk about what do you guys think makes people addicted to things, and why? Like, what do you think makes people addicted to things?
Okay, I think it's usually some sort of thing they're lacking or they want, and you know, not everybody's case, but you know, back to like you were saying with Justin was saying with escapism, is like. The drugs that people choose is usually like up or down or a certain thing they're trying to achieve because there's something not there. Right. And I know I like things that calm me down because all the time I'm so high strung And it's just, I've always had, like, you know, when I was younger, they thought I had ADHD and all that stuff, and they were trying to put me on medication and stuff like that. I've always had a lot of energy. I have trouble sleeping sometimes. And also, it doesn't help that I like pound coffee at times because I like feeling that energy high. Okay, you know, that's why I typically...
It's like you love it and you hate it. Yeah. It's like a love and hate.
I'm pretty sure that's with every addiction.
And that's what I'm saying. I love things that calm me down. Like, I like hot baths. I know that seems weird, but I'm like addicted to hot baths. I can't... like, I love Epsom salt baths, and you know...
I love a hot shower after work.
So there's levels of addiction, is what you're
exactly.
saying. Yeah.
Like 13 Circles of Hell, but addiction.
Okay, what I meant was, like, what do you think leads us to be addicted?
I think it's the habit.
Like the repetitiveness. Like,
it's the habit.
Like, even if it's something you don't like, because these are things you like you like taking a bath. But if it was something you don't like say you don't like going and getting fucked up every weekend on drugs and alcohol or whatever, like, what keeps you going back to it? You know what I mean? Like,
what stops you from breaking from it? Or?
Yeah, like, what's because that's the addiction part. That's the addiction part, right?
What makes it so easy to stay? Like,
or keep doing it, even if you're not happy. Because I think a lot of people, when they abuse their addictions, because you can have a good addiction, you wouldn't abuse taking a bath, right? Like, what are you going to get all too pruny or something?
Grow gills.
But so, I mean, like, you can't live in the bathtub, but there's people that are like on drugs. They're like living on drugs, and it's like
that's a good metaphor. Living in the bathtub, because you know what I mean. You're not getting up. You're just sitting there, and your skin's slowly eroding away, and eventually it'll kill you.
Yeah,
but it's a really
you don't
slow
do that.
death.
You don't do that all day, is what I mean.
Yeah,
but it's
a good metaphor.
But for like the addiction thing, what do you think gets people there? You think it's the drugs themselves? Do you think it's like in their head?
It's the mindset.
I guess now I'm like putting ideas in your head, but
I think
it's. I feel like it's just a habit.
Saying.
It's just a habit because you get used to something. You get used to being at that bar, doing drugs, alcohol, doing whatever it is. You get used to coming home from work, playing video games. You get used to...
You get comfortable with it.
You get used to waking up in the morning, stopping at Tim Hortons for a coffee.
Exactly. It's almost like a denial.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's seen it. So most things are seen as acceptable.
What leads you to it though in the first place? Like to go to that bar. That's the escapism
he's
part.
asking like nature versus nurture.
So the escapism part, that's part of it.
Yeah.
Well, no, certain drugs like you will be like addicted. I think heroin. If you try to get off of it, you're like really
it could
sick,
kill you.
Like physically sick.
It'll be like flu symptoms.
The same thing with alcohol too. It could kill you. Like if you're a hard alcoholic.
First.
Yeah, if you're a hard alcoholic and you're just like, I'm done, and you stop it, that could just
I literally one time
right
in a clinical had to give a beer stat because this guy was going into delirium where they start hallucinating and getting lightheaded and they get the sweats and their temperature is all wacky. I gave a Budweiser stat. I love that order. That was an awesome
You gave him a Bud
Heavy?
You gave him a Bud Heavy?
It's just funny to read it on the computer. Like, you got all these normal medications, treatments, and that Budweiser stat.
So you have, there's wait, hold on. So in the place, there's like a Budweiser medicine? It's like a medicine?
No.
I gotta go to the pharmacy.
You're just like, all right, morphine. Oh, there it is, Budweiser.
No, it's in a fridge, dude. It's just straight up in a fridge. It's like a six-pack.
Six-pack.
No, it's because people really are alcoholics.
Yeah, that's true. I know we're making a joke out of it. Alcoholism is a real thing.
It is.
We're not trying to downplay it.
Yeah, definitely not, dude.
I'm an alcoholic.
Yeah.
It never goes away. Like, because I haven't drank in a while, and people will be like, "Why do you say you're an alcoholic?" But it doesn't go away. Like, if I drank tonight, it would be like a 30-pack. So like, it's not like just because I don't drink doesn't mean I'm not an alcoholic.
Right.
And I think a lot of people, it's hard for them to grab that. And so there are people that don't have a problem drinking. I just do,
Yeah.
And I get that.
But it's good that you realize that because a lot of people don't.
Yeah.
It takes a lot for somebody to be able to be like, all right, this is an issue. I want it out of my life. And then they just, slowly, obviously, because, like I said, alcohol can fucking kill you if you're just, 30-pack a day and then you just stop.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's good that you realized it and you got away from it. Honestly, dude, like I tell you all the time, you're strong as hell for that shit.
Right.
Especially when you come around, we're all having a few beers, partying, hanging out. And
it's part of the culture.
Yeah, that's what the hardest part is.
It's culturally accepted. That's what a lot of problems with
so now we're getting to what I'm talking about. How do you get into the addiction?
Yeah,
right? And that's what I was trying
to
talk about. Like, it's in our culture.
Yeah.
You almost feel outsided not using or using alcohol.
You break
Same
social
thing.
drugs,
ties.
alcohol.
Same thing with this day and age, we have technology all around us. I have a computer sitting in front of me. We all have a phone, not in our pockets because we're recording.
I got mine in my pocket.
Over there. Hi,
Don't
fans.
speak for me.
How's it going?
I'll blow up your spot. All right.
Sorry, first time with cameras.
We're just excited.
We're just excited. You get to see our faces. You get to see us.
Having a good time.
Yeah, you get to see us. We're outside also. So obviously you guys can hear the background noise. There's kids playing in the driveway. I don't know. I thought it'd be kind of cool to do an outdoor podcast.
Yeah. And you like open up the air, man.
Oh yeah.
But man,
especially after the pandemic, a lot of people now are addicted to staying inside. Probably.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? There's
people fell into addictions because of the pandemic. Definitely.
Especially with.
I just read something that said they got worse.
What?
Yeah.
The addictions during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Alcohol one and drug ones. Because people couldn't go to AA to get the support that they needed because of the pandemic. Like,
and not only that, but the liquor store was fucking essential.
Yeah.
The liquor store was...
That's a New York shit, I think.
I'm pretty sure it was probably...
Yeah,
well, some states didn't close down anything.
Yeah.
But so I think that was a New York thing, but...
Still.
Yeah.
Canada's still
There was one on
lockdown.
every corner of a liquor store.
And also...
especially here.
What are you supposed to do when you're trapped inside all day? Like, come on, man.
What was the mayor? He said grab a six-pack when we had the blizzard. I don't remember his name, but that was cool.
When we had the blizzard, I worked at 7-Eleven.
No, this is way back.
Oh,
I know what you're talking about.
I was talking about the Snowvember storm.
Yeah.
I was working at 7-Eleven, and I got a phone call. I answered. I'm like, hey, 7-Eleven, how's it going? And they're like, do you guys still have the necessities? I'm like, well, we just ran out of diapers. We have a loaf of bread left. There's a little bit of milk, and we have water. They're like, no, man. You guys still got beer?
That's Buffalo shit.
You talk about Snowvember?
Yeah, Snowvember, yep. The Snowvember storm, yep. And when I walked in, because there was a guy that worked there, he was there for 24 hours. When I got to the store, there was a giant party going on at the front door. Like, everybody has their sleds filled up to the brim with fucking beer and paper, and whatever the fuck they need. Yeah. Toilet paper.
That's crazy. Yeah.
So it's like a fun time. So... Well, now we're just talking about...
I think we're
talking about like an alcohol addiction here, but so it starts off as like this fun time. And remember how I was talking about the advertising shit? I know I was talking about that, but think about a kid like watching like a football game and like how many beer commercials there are. And like
there's a Bud Light commercial every other time.
How fun the commercial looks. Yeah. Right? Like, so an 8-year-old kid loves football, is super hyped. Sees this Budweiser.
Can they see the Bud Light, Bud Light
everybody's
night
having,
through the fucking stadium?
Not that one specifically, but like a party scene. Like everybody's having fun, and it's all hot girls, and everybody's like super toned, which is like totally opposite of an alcohol problem, right?
Yeah.
Like if you have an alcohol problem, you probably got like a fat beer belly, and like. No offense, but it's just the truth.
I'm offended. You're canceled now. Get him off.
So like the commercial isn't even like this real thing. It's like a fantasy. And that's why I was always talking about the advertising to the kids, because it's the kids that they're trying to get so that they could get the kid when it goes to the store, it'll buy the Tide shit over the Gain shit or whatever.
Yeah. Right.
But this like culture that we create where like the kid sees this huge party happening, right? And then they get to school and there's this peer pressure, like you're gonna come to the party and have some drinks, right? So is this where this all starts?
Yeah,
you know?
Definitely. In high school,
pressure.
In high school, definitely, because if you don't get invited to a party, you feel outcasted. Yeah. You feel like you're not a part of that
say
group.
You don't want to do the drinking part, right? And you get outcasted. Now you could get an addiction to something else, which could be a good one, like running or being physical fit, or it could be a bad one. You know, like I seen some shit where some lady was like addicted to eating mattresses or something. She had ate like 7 mattresses in her life.
Some strange addiction.
Yeah, there's a lot of strange addiction.
So it's like maybe she was so outcasted.
Yeah,
that she had to eat a mattress all by her. She was like, I'm crying in my bed. She just had a mouthful of mattress and ate it. Hey, no, I don't know if that's true.
Real quick,
got the death plan.
Death plan. Fish watered it.
I watered it. It's coming back.
That's your mind with addictions.
That's your mind with addictions.
Commercial.
And
your mind, not drugs. Right here.
This is you on weed. Remember that shit from back in the deflated. Oh my god. Speaking back to ads though, I distinctly remember growing up seeing commercials for cigarettes, like the fucking Camel. Mm-hmm. But I was doing some research for the podcast, and apparently Richard Nixon, on I think it was April 1st, 1970, banned it. He banned ads on nicotine in cigarettes.
Yeah, for like.
But I distinctly remember seeing them growing up.
TV ads.
Yeah.
Okay, because they're still in the store, like on.
Well, yeah. That's no, but I'm talking about TV ads. I remember seeing the cool fucking camel and the fucking leather jackets, sunglasses, smoking cigarettes, fucking. You know what I mean?
That could create the culture, and it's a product that kills you.
Yeah.
Like.
Totally
addictive. Totally.
There's
addictive.
over 1 billion deaths a year.
Do you get some that says like where they would use like, because like there was a time when doctors would like prescribe you heroin if you had like were in pain and like, they would prescribe you like cocaine.
They used to
needed,
literally
like,
have it in a bottle. It'd be like heroin, cocaine, morphine, all in a bottle, and be like Dr. Johnson.
And then
today
at some point,
it's
it
the oxycodons for the fucking pain. You know what I mean? People these days that's what it is. It's converted into the pills.
Yeah.
You know, and then they get the pill addiction. What happens is they get the pill addiction from the doctor, and then they start buying the pills on the street because they are addicted to the shit, and they feel physically sick without the.
And then the ones who are getting on the street, they don't know where it's coming. You don't know who's
not only
making
that,
it. You don't know where it's coming from.
So then they're broke because buying that shit on the street is expensive. So then the guy's like, oh, but I got this heroin and it's way cheaper.
Yeah.
And that's how you get on the heroin shit. It's like they got you on the pills, then like you go to the street for it because you can't get it from the doctor no more. And then the street is like, hey, heroin's cheaper, and now you're fucking shooting that shit in your arm, nodding out in the car.
Especially if you don't have health insurance. You know what I mean? Because in America we don't have free health insurance. Yeah. So it's like if you can get it cheaper from the guy next door than you can from fucking hitting up your doctor. Yeah. And you know what I mean? And then they're obviously going to take more because now it's cheaper.
Yep.
Which is causing...
Well, and you're addicted to.
And you're addicted, but now you're going to take more, which is causing the deaths and the fucking crazy... what's the word? Epidemic. I was going to say pandemic.
The opiate pandemic.
The opiate pandemic?
Yeah, it's everywhere, bro. It's not just this country. Other countries have the same problem with heroin, dude. Like, Russia's got it worse than us, dude. You ever hear about that Crocodile shit?
No, I haven't.
No, but it seems like Russia would be the ones.
Yeah.
With
It does seem like.
I don't want to sound no way about that.
Yeah, but
I don't think Russia could get this podcast anyways.
But let me tell you a little bit about that Crocodile stuff. It's really bad, dude. Like users of it, like you.
What is it? I don't know anything.
It's like super heroin, but it's a weird mixture of like paint thinner, and then I want to say there's another drug included, and then like a really potent heroin opiate, like really pure heroin, but the paint thinner and the heroin mix, it creates such a euphoric high. And like there's some instances they recorded in like a couple small cases, it's like anecdotal cases, so you can't prove it, but these people said that they did it one time and they were addicted. It's that fucking potent.
That's like crack, I think.
But listen to this is why they call it Crocodile. It rots your flesh right off you.
Oh, I heard about that shit.
Yeah,
I heard about
it turns
that shit.
it like black and green, turns scaly, falls off. They'll have holes in their cheeks.
Yeah, it's fucking nuts. I never heard about this.
Yeah, longest, they put life expectancy on Crocodile for like 1 year to 2 years at most. The longest they know of for cases is someone who did 5 years, but that person was like, they had holes in their arm, their cheek, and it was just...
Sounds like some zombie shit.
I know with the heroin and the opioids, there's a chase, too. Like, and you're always chasing that feeling because like you'll kill yourself
chasing the dragon.
It feels so good. So them people with the falling off arms and shit, it's like they felt so good that they didn't care, or they're addicted. But do you think it's because they're addicted or because they felt so good? Because if I had a hole in my arm, it wouldn't be because I was addicted, because it felt good, right?
Yeah.
But and then I had heard this before is like a heroin addict. It's like it's real ritual and habitual. Like they like doing it the same way every time, and then, like so there'll be like band members out on the road or whatever, and they won't be in their like normal habit, so they'll like overuse, and that's how they'll like OD because they're not in their like ritual spot. And I think that was kind of interesting too. Is like not being where you always use could make you use too much, and I thought that was like a crazy like thing to. I don't know.
Yeah. What do you guys think about that? Do you remember they were, I don't know if it was here or not, but somewhere they were trying to open up the like tents so people could safely shoot up heroin.
Yeah.
Now, what do you guys think about that? I want your opinions on that because in my opinion, it is wild. That is a wild thing because it's in a way it's promoting it.
Yeah.
But in another sense of the word, it's making it to where you're not going to go ahead and overdo it to the point where you're going to kill yourself. And obviously, once you start the shit, if it's just, I don't know, but if it is as
I never done
addictive,
it. I never did.
I never
Thank
did
God.
either. Me too.
Because I'm so like addictive.
If it is as addictive as they portray it and as everybody says it is, I don't think it's the best idea to maybe fucking promote like, here's a tent, you can come here and do it.
This is the way I look at it. I don't think that you should necessarily hate the idea, but what I don't like is that we're putting like tax dollars towards like these safety tents when we should just do a bigger. This is like a Band-Aid. Like, yes, it's a little better because now you don't get to see them shooting up in your.
Yeah, they're just not on the street.
Yeah.
They're putting them off the street. That's what it is.
But this is what I don't like about those tents. This is just a personal opinion. I feel like it gets them together and they talk and it helps them continue their addiction.
Yeah.
And like you're giving them a regular spot to go when they want to do it.
Just like when we were talking about earlier, going to that bar. Like they're just gonna get used to going to that tent.
So we're working towards heroin being legal almost. Like, and then there'd be like a heroin bar. Come check out the heroin bar.
I really hope there's a pot bar before
but
there's
are
a
we
heroin
going backwards
bar.
or forward? Because that's like I was saying. Like the doctors were prescribing this shit like back then. So it's like, are we going backwards to then when it's just okay, or are we going forward to like, hey, we should stop this? Which way are we going? I lost too many friends to this shit to be like, we're going forward. Like, let's not go back. I don't know.
I think ultimately we need to go to what the source of the problem is.
What do you think that is?
It's a lot of angles. I think that we need to get some sort of money incentive to go against heroin. That's the big issue, is because there's a money incentive to do heroin derivatives in pharmaceutical application. I'm not saying that certain people shouldn't get it. Like, I support heroin use and stuff like that when you're in end-of-life care. Like, I'm talking like hospice care.
Type stuff.
Yeah, because if you're going to die anyways and you're aching completely, why the hell not, man? It's not like you have, like, I'm not to be morbid, but you don't have a future. Why should you be in pain for the last moments of your life?
Right.
You should feel good. So
go out in peace.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it should, like, I'm okay with that use, but I just don't think we should be
It's not recreational.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not recreational.
Yeah.
It's not a fun party thing.
No.
Because it's not a party drug.
It's not. At all.
Like, I've heard people tell me, people have used and stuff like that, and they explain to me why it's so addictive to them. And
heroin?
Yes.
Or like opiates, at least?
Heroin, but specifically heroin.
Yeah.
I had one of my friends, I'm not going to say his name because, like, it's not fair.
No.
And he told me why he was doing it. He said it's just like, he's like, honestly, man, it's like God's hugging you. It's
the best
really,
feeling ever.
Yeah. It's just, it's so, like,
and
he said it's like...
that's the dragon they're trying to chase every time.
But he's just saying it's like this warmth that no person or any entity or anything can give you. And you know
That's
what?
why they go back to it. Even they could be clean for years, but they never felt that.
And their brain
vanity shit I was
gives
talking about. Remember that burning the vanity shit? You go back to it.
Yeah.
No matter how long you try to get right, you go back to it.
It's comfortable. You get comfortable with a bad place because it's familiar. You know what I mean? You're comfortable.
You want to feel good. I think you want to feel good. I think
familiarity makes you feel good.
I think if we're talking about like a drug and alcohol addiction, it's because you want to feel good. That's what I was trying to say. Like it's not like you love shooting up heroin. You just love feeling good.
Yeah.
And that's why you shoot up. So there's like a rite of passage you hear about this thing. You know what it is, like in cultures.
Yeah.
Like bar mitzvah or a bat mitzvah. Like a rite of passage.
Manhood, womanhood, coming of age.
Like your first beer. Like that's a rite of passage in our culture, or like your first time driving or something, like your first joint, like it's like you, and so like, why do you think that happens? You know, like you get there, you say yes, you do it, whatever. I don't know why.
It's back to the feeling. Every addiction, no matter what it is, whether it's drugs or it's anything else, it's that feel good. For another example, addiction to gambling.
Yeah.
What's the feel good thing there?
Winning.
It's that winning. You can fucking spend your whole life savings to try and get that rush of getting that feeling of I just won again. You know what I mean? You don't like a lot of people black out every time they lose. Like they're like I don't remember losing that money. Yeah. Like I'm fucking $5,000 in the hole, but I fucking won $3,000 last week.
A total different place.
I won $3,000 last week in one fucking day. I spent $5,000 over the span of 2 weeks, but now I'm back because I'm trying to get that fucking. I'm trying to get 10 grand this time.
Yeah.
I want 20. I want to know what 20 feels like.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's like people who are extreme winners. You ever heard of like stuff like
Yeah.
that, like Michael Jordan? Like they want to win because there's a chance of winning. That they like the thrill of the chase, even if they have no experience in it. I experienced it a little bit because I always like trying new things because I'm like, dude, life's worth trying shit, and I get that like kind of competitive nature. I understand it, and sometimes with drugs, it can when you have a competitive nature, you want to do more and more because you want to see what levels there are to highs, and you want to see where the plateaus is, and that's where it starts getting dangerous because you want to try to get that high you got the first time. Like think about the first time you drank, smoke, or whatever it was. It's the highest high.
So it's more of a personal thing.
Yeah.
It's not like a group thing. But we feel outside it if we don't use. But it's a personal thing. Isn't that weird?
It's a community because you can't get drugs by yourself. Unless you grow them. But who showed you how to grow them? Who showed you what they are?
All right.
You didn't, you know.
Like the first time you smoke a joint, it wasn't by yourself.
Right.
Someone was sitting there, somebody rolled up a joint, and they're like, hey man, you want to try it? And you're like, let me see that thing.
Or like a beer.
Or a beer.
You got to buy it from a store, man. Unless you brew your own beer.
And how many times
had to teach you that? You know.
Right.
So it's already here.
Yeah.
And a lot of it, like especially with pot and alcohol, that starts at a younger age. Like we were saying earlier, in high school. Like you're in high school, somebody's if you don't get invited to the party.
You think we just do what our parents do? I was about to say that.
Yeah.
Do you think we just do what our parents do?
Sometimes.
Like all the way, or like all of us. I mean,
yeah,
or
yeah.
whoever raised you, or whoever raised you. It might not be your parents specifically.
But at the same time,
there.
if there was an alcoholic parent in your situation growing up and it was bad, that might also steer you away from it.
Yeah.
Do you know any stories like that?
No.
Right.
But
so
there are
idea.
stories
It's
out
an
there. I don't know
idea.
any personally, but there are stories out there. You know what I mean? There's like, oh, my dad was a bad alcoholic. I seen what it did to him. I stay away from all that shit because I don't want to go down that road.
I wonder if we could ever overcome the things that held our parents back. That's something that I wonder about, you know, because it's like we all want our kids to like go far. Like you want your kid to go farther than you, no matter
of course.
Like no matter how far you go, you want them to be a little bit like because that's like our progression. But like, are we ever able to overcome what held our parents back? And do you know what I mean by that? You know, like what brick wall our parents hit? Can we get through that brick wall? I don't know.
Takes time and effort, but we all can. I mean, anything's possible, but at the same time, it is hard because growing up, you see your dad work a 9-to-5 job, and you see him just bust his ass every day, and he's bringing home food, and he's bringing home money, and he's bringing home shit that keeps the family afloat.
I think you don't notice that till you're older. Like
you don't, but at the same time, you realize what kept you in a house as a kid.
Yeah. Thinking back,
you'll realize that. But yeah, once you get to that age, now you're like, I need to get a job. I need to go get a house. I need to go get that. You don't think, all right, well, maybe if I just start fucking, I don't know. I don't have an example. I got ahead of myself.
Man, yeah, it is something you notice. I mean, you do the patterns of your parents, but sometimes you go against them. Like Fish was saying, you see something bad and you go against it. It does happen. Because, you know, sometimes the best examples are the most painful examples. Someone that's your parent, like, because that sucks, man.
As a kid, your parent is a superhero. Like, and no one could fuck with that. Like, no one. My dad is the best. And like, that is your shit. But, like, you get to this point where you realize, like, my parents are just, like, regular-ass fucking people, right? Yeah. Like, I think that happens when you're maturing.
Especially as you're maturing, because you're just like, at what point am I in a... Like, you just think adults are these people that fucking know everything. Yeah. Like, you think adults just got their shit together, everything's afloat. And then you get to the point where you're growing up, you're like, so when is everything fucking good? Because, I mean, I'm not at that point yet. Like,
do you think that's something that happened to, like, our generation specifically? Because I don't feel like our parents went through that. And I don't think their parents went through that. These feelings that we're talking about right now, I don't think they felt that way. And I don't know. I just think that's weird, you know? But
now it's like everybody's an open book. Everybody's stories out there on the internet. We could all see it. We could all...
When you used to go hang out, when our parents would go hang out on a Friday night at somewhere, right? Like... They didn't have no cell phone to get a hold of nobody. Like, whoever was at the spot was at the spot. That's it. And if you weren't there, you weren't there. You missed it, you know? And
That's another addiction that's facing the society
you'll
today.
You'll have like an ex-girlfriend who should be like a never thought anymore, right? But here she is on fucking Facebook popping up, posting pictures, fucking making statuses. I don't know. Maybe,
or you just break up with a girlfriend and you're seeing all the indirect shit that she would have just thought about back in the day before fucking Twitter was a thing.
And it should be a never thought afterwards, right?
Should be like we're done. You're just gonna go live your life. I'm
all about smashing TVs though, so I got to slam for you on it.
But sometimes, think about this, man. You know, like I was repping that one podcast way too much, but the Social Dilemma was talking about people engage 7 times more with negative things, like seeing your ex-girlfriend.
Yeah, you love it.
And that stuff, that gets engagement, and social media apps push that.
Is that another addiction, you think?
Well, that's a depression
being addicted
spiral.
to seeing
depression spiral.
But there's some people that they crave negative situations, like
even though they know it
on,
makes them feel bad. They're looking for it.
Exactly.
And that's what the algorithms.
Do you think it makes them feel less bad? I think a lot of people do that.
That's what they're addicted to.
It's like, well, he did that fucking shit. I never did no shit like that.
What do you think cancel culture is? They love attacking people and jumping on people for something that they don't like.
Yeah.
Like, they're getting a thrill and a fucking dopamine effect from seeing something they don't like because they jump on that person.
Yeah,
they see me, I'm gonna turn that shit right the fuck
off.
I'm like,
fucking,
shut it off.
Exactly. That's what it used to be. It's like, all right, I don't like that, bro. I'm just not gonna fucking look at it. I'm gonna fucking go to the next video. I'm gonna go on something else, and if I see a video that relates to that video, why the fuck am I gonna click on it when I know I didn't like the original video? But now, motherfuckers these days are like, click, oh, dislike. Alright, mean review, share. Oh, wow, look at I got 10 likes. I got 10 people that agree with me.
Right.
And then they get addicted to the fucking likes. So then they want to talk more shit.
The false sense of reality, like false sense of acceptance. It really is. It's kind of like a pseudo, not a pseudo, but like you know how like Splenda and sugar work? It's like a Splenda to real interaction.
Makes you want sugar even more. It makes you want sugar even more. Splenda, for real. Yeah. So it makes you want a real interaction even more.
Yeah.
You might get hyped and be...
all because you
just wanted a hug from somebody. You're all mad at somebody. You just wanted a hug. Yeah, and I think that's the fucked up shit.
And not only that, but that shit that they're mad about, if they were mad about it and you talked it out face to face, it would never blow up the way it does on social media.
It would never be a thing. It would
never be like getting in people's fucking shit, cussing them out. It'd be like we'd have a conversation like, yo, what you said, I disagree with it because of points.
And then you say your points. And they can't find you.
And then you say your points, and then if it's still a disagreement, it's like, all right, man, good talk. We'll see you.
Or people wouldn't even just say it because they're too scared to say those awful things to your face.
Oh yeah, especially with some of the
you get a small snippet. You get one little interaction.
And not only that, but you can't hear tone of voice or intent through text.
We become a whole population of text, though. It's like nobody wants to talk. You can't call someone on the phone, or like they don't want to pick up or whatever. But what I wanted to talk about was the individuality of the addiction, right? Because we're saying it's this acceptance thing to be in the party culture, but there's an individuality of the addiction part, right?
Right.
And so I think everyone's addicted to something, and I think the words got us fucked up too. If you didn't know what hate was or what greed was or stuff like that, if it was never taught to you, you wouldn't even associate that kind of thinking, right?
Exactly.
So if you just had all these happy positive shit, life would be different. But I want to know why the addiction thing, you get into it as a group, but it's an individual addiction. You know what I mean? Are we setting up the whole group to be individually addicted to something? You know?
Well, it's into everybody. There's always a common ground you can reach because individualistic addiction, you could share it that you both feeling calm or you both being or hyped up.
Mosquitoes are out.
But I mean, how you do it, how you like you said about the heroin addicts, they like the ritualistic matter because sometimes that's the stimulus is just setting up. Imagine just
that's
rolling.
a whole part of it.
Yeah,
setting it up. And when they're out of that element, they're not. And they overuse. So that is a thing.
Because they'll do it the one other person's way, then they'll do it their way because their way is what the stimulus is.
Right. So they didn't have that. So they didn't feel like they got high, so they used again.
Yeah.
That's the part. Yeah, you nailed what I was saying earlier. That part, the ritual of it, like setting it up.
Everybody loves it, and they're being community because they're being a little greedy. Sometimes addictions puts you to greed because you want that rush at any cost, because sometimes you know the consequence when you get too far in on something.
Right. And as humans, we're tribal.
Yeah.
So we're looking for a tribe to belong to.
Yeah.
So if we're friends already, we got our tribe going, and now our tribe's starting to do something like go out to the bars more.
What happens?
Then we just follow along, and then we're like, yeah, sure, I'll take a drink. Yeah, sure, I'll take a shot. Yeah, sure, I'll take another drink.
And then there's a part where the addiction takes over you, where you don't care about your friend, you don't care about his girl, you don't care about anybody that's around. You care about the addiction and getting high again.
Exactly.
And it doesn't matter what anybody does as long as you could get high again. You know? There's that part of it. That's the individual part, I think. Where like you'll totally trash your friends and like it'll just because you wanted to get high. Not because you hated your friend. It was just because all you could think about was getting high.
Yeah.
And like when you got a friend that's addicted to something and you're like, why are you so mad at me? You're like coming at your friend and it's you didn't do anything. We'll take the blame. We'll be like, oh, I must have did something. They're so mad. No, they just want to get high and they don't care about you at that moment. You know. And that's a sad part of the addiction.
Right.
Well, I got one more thing on my little bit of notes here. One addiction that we didn't cover. And it's something we all need to survive. Food.
Yeah. Different types of food.
Different types of food. I mean, there's only 2%, which is a small population of people that have a problem with it, whether it be, like an eating disorder or just the addiction
only
itself.
2%, you think?
On the research I did, 2%.
So do you think obesity is in a food addiction? Do you think that is?
Yeah, because obesity
that's
is
way more than 2%, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, obesity.
So
well, that's America.
What, this was the world?
The research
Define
I did,
that
I was
statistic
looking
better. Like refine what you're saying. Like 2% of what? The American population
Of just
Yeah,
bulimics and anorexics?
I should have.
Maybe that's like a bulimic anorexic thing.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Eating disorder. 'Cause
Eating disorder, yeah.
Maybe it was a 2.
But at the same time, it said addictions too.
I still think obesity is an eating disorder, in my opinion. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a researcher, but
Sometimes it can be because there's thyroid issues that could make you get bigger.
Serious health issues too.
Yeah.
Especially with eating a lot.
no, listen. If you're fucking 300 pounds, you are addicted to eating food, bro. It doesn't just happen overnight. Like,
But how do you stop, Fish? It's so fucking good. I just fucking indulge and
I used to be
eat.
300 pounds, so you could hate me if you want, but
Just fucking get a meatball sub and I can't stop. I get another one. You know what I mean?
it's like
Subway's like, buy one,
order
get
a whole
one
large
free. I'm
pizza,
like,
eat the
sign
whole
me up.
thing. It's like I had this thing where like if it was in front of me, I had to eat it, and like that was part of it. Like, and I don't know if it was.
You were
an
on the
addiction.
seafood
I don't
diet.
know if I was like a nervous tick thing or something. Like seeing it, didn't want to waste it or something. But
I feel like that's what it is for, especially me a lot of the time. Like when I'm eating, I'm like,
so you're full, but you overeat.
and we, in America especially, we don't eat until we're not full. We eat until we can't fucking breathe anymore. You
That's
know
because
what I
your
mean?
stomach's so big, it's pushing out your lungs.
Yeah, exactly. But in other countries, they eat a little plate so they're not hungry anymore.
Our plate sizes are bigger here.
Whereas we have this big ass fucking plate and we eat it and we're like, oh, I'm still not stuffed
our
yet. Let me go grab
grandparents-
another plate.
Our grandparents' dinner plate was about this big.
I know, right?
Ours
You ever
is
see
like-
grandparents
ours is
like
like
China? And they just got these really small plates.
Well, they were like depression. Like it was like maybe you had some bread that day to eat.
Right?
For real. They're waiting bread lines. My grandma told me about that shit.
Oh yeah, man.
But boys, we are at 44 minutes. So
Well, we talked mostly about addiction.
yeah, had some other stuff in there too. It's good being
It's a good
back.
outside thing.
Our first video podcast.
You got the videos.
Yeah, it was nice.
We're
Hopefully
slowly.
our videos are still recording.
Yeah, I'm hoping. We'll find out.
I can see mine still.
Miles is still recording. We're
All right,
good.
then we're good.
So this concludes our addiction episode. It took us fucking 45 years to get it together, but here we are.
Yeah.
May was rough, man. The COVID scare. You had the COVID scare. We got
It
vaccinated.
was bronchitis, guys. Fucking relax. All right. Well,
I've had out.
I've had out. Thank you everybody for watching and listening. Now that we can say watching. Well, until next time, I'm Justin.
I'm Fish.
And I'm Miles.
And you can podcast. Until next time. See you guys.
Yeah. Yeah, still.